Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Viewpoint. I'm Anusha Soni. The focus tonight is the campaign blitz of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the run-up to the assembly elections in the Hindi heartland. You heard the Prime Minister yesterday when he spoke about the women reservation bill and how the Congress party was run by quote-unquote urban Naxals. While the entire narrative around the elections is likely to heat up in the coming few days, one thing is abundantly clear, that the BJP is taking this story to town. Double engine ki sarkar and the women reservation bill is the narrative, is the poll plank that will define what BJP promises to the people of each of these states. Even today, Prime Minister is scheduled to land in Gujarat on a two-day visit, a slew of development projects that he is set to inaugurate. And even there, he is going to be greeted by the women of Gujarat, who are going to welcome him upon the successful passage of the women's reservation bill. The Congress party argues this is nothing but an election jumla. A jumla which surprisingly is supported on the floor of the House in Parliament. With just few weeks to go for the elections in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Telangana to be announced by the poll panel, will this narrative lead to the victory of the BJP or the opposition, especially the Congress party, which is very strong in the three states of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, be able to dampen the spirits of the BJP, which seems to be clearly geared up for these elections? One very interesting aspect which has come forward in the state of Madhya Pradesh, central leadership and sitting ministers like Narendra Singh Tomar or the Member of Parliament Rakesh Singh have been given tickets to fight assembly elections in the state of Madhya Pradesh, and these are B+ seats, or seats where BJP has often lost. It only shows how the battle of Madhya Pradesh and other states has become a battle of prestige. Our focus on Viewpoint tonight.
कुछ दिन पहले ही लोकसभा और राज्यसभा में माताओं, बहनों, बेटियों के लिए 33% सीटें आरक्षित करने का कानून पारित हुआ। नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम देश ने नया इतिहास रच दिया है। आखिर मोदी है तो मोदी है तो हर गारंटी पूरी होने की गारंटी है। कांग्रेस और उसके नए घमंडिया गठबंधन ने मजबूरी में इस बिल का समर्थन बहुत खट्टे मन से किया है, बहुत बेमन से किया है। और आप देखिए कि इनके गठबंधन में जितने लोग हैं, वही लोग हैं जिन्होंने 30 साल तक इस कानून को पारित नहीं होने दिया। पार्लियामेंट में हुड़दंग किया, बिल फाड़ दिए, स्पीकर पे हमले बोल दिए।
Well, joining us on the broadcast, Tuhin Sinha, the national spokesperson of BJP, Anika Mehrotra, who's a spokesperson of Congress party. Both are joining us on the broadcast. We're expecting other guests also to be with us in just a few minutes from now. But I want to cut across to Anika ji first. Anika ji, the Prime Minister says it's a historic step that the BJP has taken. This bill was spoken of by the Congress party in successive years, but the Congress party couldn't do anything substantial about it. Your party is aware how critical the women voters bank has become for any political party in different states, not just in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh or Rajasthan, but even in a state like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh as well. The BJP is taking its success story to town. Do you think you'd be able to successfully communicate your side of the story?
We already have. In fact, the nation and the women of this country know very well that election around the corner, and there goes our Prime Minister, spreading or sharing his jumlas. And he knows very well that the failures that they have, done in these 9.5 years, people are going to take them to task. And that is the reason Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, and Bharatiya Janata Party or the Jumla Party is very worried. And hence they've come with a post-dated check. You see, this is the diversion tactics. They know very well they have questions to answer. All right, leave alone 15 lakhs, leave alone 2 crore job. You go on and on and on and on. All their promises, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. You know, look at the funds that they've given to Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. It's nothing but just a farce. Do you know, Anshula, the mirage effect? You go nosedive believing you're seeing an optical image. It's nothing but a...
But I wonder, Anika ji, what exactly is the mirage effect? Because the BJP argues that it was Congress party. One second. The Congress party has kept this mirage of women reservation for far too long. And when the women reservation bill has become a reality, you've suddenly thrown in a surprise of the OBC quota, something that the Congress party has never spoken of historically.
Anshula ji, I thought you had read the bill very clearly. You know very clearly, ma'am, the ifs and buts put in by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Look at this delimitation and the census issues. Why, may I ask? 2010, when it got passed in Rajya Sabha, it has not lapsed. It could have been continued. Why don't you do it right away? A far distant dream of 2029, you're not aware when the census will take place, when will delimit take place. Why are you harping about it now? It is a clear act of a jumla of duping the women of this country. Now you think so the women of the country will not read, will not understand what the act is all about, what the bill is all about, and when will they get their share, which was duly there for past so many years, which we are still struggling. Remember, ma'am, we wrote continuous letters to the Modi government. Time and again we requested them that a bill is there, why don't you bring it? What took them 9.5 years? And now on top of it, you know, it's like chori or sina chori. Now after 9.5 years, you come and do tall claims. It was their leaders who objected to it in 1989 when the bill came first. So the history goes on. People of this country know very well that the intent is not there. Just because you have changed the nomenclature from women reservation to Nari, Vandana, Adhiniyam, that will not suffice. Stop doing that. Women of this country actually need it now. Okay. You need to empower them.
You've made your opening comments. You've made your opening comments. Now listen to your political opponent as well. We have Tuhin Sinha, the national spokesperson of BJP, joining us on the broadcast. Tuhinji, why make women reservations subject to delimitation? The BJP is right when they argue that a caste census is absolutely necessary for the exercise of delimitation. But for women reservation to be a reality, delimitation was not a sine qua non.
Well, good evening, Anusha. Good evening, everybody. You know, traditionally, the Congress party has always practiced the politics of deception and chicanery, which is what they had done on the issue of women's reservation bill, which stands exposed today. The reason why we have, included the clauses of the population census and delimitation is only to ensure that the bill is not legally inept and vulnerable to being challenged in the court of law. We have seen a history of Congress party where they would bring bills like communal violence bill, which were anyway an attack on the Hindu community, which we thwarted. We have seen Rahul Gandhi, tearing off ordinances of his own government. We don't do that. We ensure complete perfection, complete completion. We don't leave anything for detail. We don't leave anything for legally weak.
No, but allow me to make an interjection that I think I understand bare components of law. Why was it legally necessary to include delimitation?
No, because delimitation anyway is happening in 2026. And if you ask the Election Commission, it would be unviable to complete, even for them logistically, to identify all of the 1/3 seats immediately. So a party which has stalled the women's reservation bill for a good 14 years. I'm simply referring to Sonia Gandhi's comments after 2010, when she very clearly said that we don't support OBC reservation within the women's reservation because all parties have the liberty to give any number of seats to the OBC candidates. Today, why the Congress has gone on a completely 180-degree tangent? Why does it need to completely change its stand? Our stand has remained consistent. If you go back in 2010, if the bill was passed in Rajya Sabha, it would not have happened without the robust support of Arun Jaitley ji. You have seen his comments on record. The only people who were opposing it were Sharad Yadav, Lalu Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav, all of whom were allies of, or even if today, are India Alliance partners.
So Anika ji, if this bill is a jumla, and I've asked this question yesterday as well, Why was it supported on the floor of the House by the Congress party? You should have said that in this present form, this bill is nothing but a farce and the Congress party will not support it. Was the Congress party also making a political point? If I were to take your argument that BJP is making a political point here on the face value.
All right, I'll tell you that. Ma'am, our point here is that we have always stood by it, and we stand by the reservation bill. We all have said that. You have heard in the parliament that we support the bill. I think none of the Congress said we don't support it. A. B. There are ifs and buts. That is a legitimate question. You think we'll be tight-lipped if they come up with anything? We ask them, why the census? All right, if you're doing census, why not the caste census? Why not let everybody have his own share? And 2021 was the scheduled year for the census. Due to COVID, you could not do. Rest of the countries have done it. Only India and G20 has not done it. And hence, they have put a bracket and seized it till 2026. That goes to say that 2024, at the last lap, when you know your ground is slipping because of a non-performance, you come out with this huge bill, which was, we all wanted it to see the light of the day. But unfortunately, it will not. Because this very election, let's say, it's in Rajya Sabha, the previous bill. Why didn't you pass it as it is, ma'am? Why did you put the sense and delimitation? Because the intention was not there, and hence we say it is nothing but a jumla and an event management. In the Madhya Pradesh speech today, Prime Minister Modi, in his 51st speech, took the name of Congress 41 times. Why are you scared? Because a Prime Minister of a country naming a reliance as
who can take that away from the Congress party that you are the biggest opponent of the BJP in states like Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan? And I will take that question to Mr. Tuhin Sinha. Tuhin, Madhya Pradesh is my home state as well, and many people there argue, people who are close to the BJP argue, that the manner in which the recent list has come out somewhere shows that it's a do-or-die battle for the Saffron party. The likes of Rakesh Singh, who have been veteran parliamentary members, Narendra Singh Tomar, and various leaders who are active at the central level have been thrown into the assembly elections. Why did the BJP decide something of that nature?
We have been in government in Madhya Pradesh for the last 20 years, barring, a 1.5-year period. And for 20 years, if a party is in government, some amount of anti-incumbency is bound to happen. But the way 7 sitting members of parliament have readily opted to fight the assembly election shows the selflessness in all our party karyakartas. That is the spirit of the BJP. For us, we've always believed that the country and the party are way above individuals. We're not a family-run party where, the family takes precedence over everything else. So I think you should appreciate the spirit of the 7 members of parliament who willingly decided to opt for assembly elections, realizing that it's a battle which we need to win, and they are going all out to make that happen.
No, but Tuhin, I understand that sentiment. You're a loyal party worker, and hence you make that argument about the leadership, and that should be the leadership of any national party in that way if you really want to run your affairs. But that's my question: that why did the leadership decide something of this nature?
We don't take any battle lightly. It's not just about Madhya Pradesh. A similar thing had happened in a few of the other states. We don't take any battle lightly, which is what explains, the 2 instances when we have consistently won 272 plus seats, 303 on one occasion and 282 on the other. And trust me, you will be surprised with the Madhya Pradesh results as well, because the amount of work that has happened, 5 airports, the women empowerment schemes, right from the Ladli Lakshmi Yojana from 2008 onwards. Madhya Pradesh has been a pioneer in all of these social welfare schemes. And lastly, because ma'am had been making some charges, let me come back, give me 30 seconds to come back to the women reservation bill. I need to answer her. At least Asaduddin Owaisi had the audacity to oppose it. But what does the Congress think it can, constantly does it think it can mislead people? If Rahul Gandhi had the courage, he should have torn the bill in the parliament the way he tore the ordinance of the Manmohan Singh government. But after the passage of the bill, he continues to stoke falsehood by repeating that only 3 OBC, secretaries are there in the central government, despite being schooled on it. And if such is the situation, only and only the Congress party is to be blamed, because they delayed the implementation of the Mandal Commission report by 8 years. It was submitted in 1983. They were in government till 1989. They delayed that. They delayed the implementation of the Kaka Kelkar Commission report of 1958, which had clearly mandated that the backward commission should be given the constitutional status, which eventually happened by our government in 2018, and they opposed it. So this is the reality.
Can I intervene, please?
All right, Anika ji, a quick response from you, and then we have Yuvraj Pokarna also joining us on the broadcast.
Anusha ji, I think Mr. Tushar sir is contradicting his own statement. He talks about Parivarvad. Then why Jyotia Scindia ji, may I ask Tarun ji, why was the eagerness to take the mantri without a portfolio, that Hawai Jahaz and all that? What is the answer to that? Why do you take all the people from Congress? The Parivarvad? So don't contradict your own statement. I know you're a loyal worker, rightly said by ma'am, but look where he is diverting the issue. We are talking women reservation. I categorically said in the parliament that we stand by the reservation because we are the champions for it, and we always, and Rajiv ji was it first, and we got to implement Panchayati Raj. Who are they? The Advani ji, Lal Kishore Advani ji, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, and Jaswant Sinha ji. They opposed in 1989. If he doesn't know that, go and tell him to go and check the records.
Yes, there are a lot of points you want to respond
I agree on that.
But I think the moot question here is,
ma'am, he's responded enough.
something that the opposition has repeatedly asked BJP. That
on the wrong track.
Is this washing machine? I mean, the same set of people, when they go to BJP, they become more palatable and acceptable, and then there are no charges of nepotism?
Is the question to me?
Yes, please go ahead.
First of all, let me define what is Parivarvad. By virtue of your father or your mother being in the party or holding a certain
Anika ji, let him finish. Let him make his point. I'll come back to you. I'll have to go to Yuvraj as well. Please go ahead. Tuhin Sinha, please go ahead. Make your point.
So let me just define Parivarvad for you. Parivarvad simply means that by virtue of your pedigree, holding a certain position in the party, you will not be entitled to that position. It does not mean that any succeeding generation of mine or anybody else will not be allowed in politics. All of these people.
Okay, then in the RSS, how many women are there? How many women are in RSS?
Anika ji, we can't shift contours and paradigms like that. We have to stay on one. You've raised a question now. Let him answer that. Let him answer that. I have not allowed anybody to speak over you. I have not allowed you to speak over him. Please go ahead. Tuhin Sinha, please make your point.
So I have basically defined Parivarvad. We can't prevent our succeeding generations from entering politics, but all of those who have entered politics have had to work their way up. It's not as if they have inherited a position just because their pedigree had that position. I hope the Congress understands this difference.
All right. Yuvraj, come into the discussion. The women reservation bill is one of the key things that Prime Minister has highlighted in the different rallies he has had in the poll-bound states. Even in Gujarat, today there would be celebration of sort. This is the key narrative that they take to the people. Women reservation, development of women, inclusion of women at the leadership and policy level, and combining it with the narrative of the double engine ki sarkar by Modi government. Do you think it will work in states like Madhya Pradesh, where there's a strong anti-incumbency against the BJP?
Am I audible?
You're audible, Yuvraj. Go ahead.
Yeah, Miss Soni, one thing that we must all concede with, including the friends from Congress and the BJP, that Mr. Narendra Modi is a master communicator. And this is his trump card, the Turukka Ikka, the women reservation bill that was languishing since 2010 from the time of Congress, has been brought into enactment by the BJP under the stewardship of Modi, and that too at a very crucial juncture. As they say, timing is very important and crucial in politics. You got to see the timing and connect the dots. As India has changed from India to Bharat, from India's to destiny to Bharat at 2047. So we're getting a new parliament, and on the historic occasion of inauguration of new parliament, the first bill that history, in the annals of the history will be remembered, Narendra Modi as the man who has brought women reservation.
Yuvraj, one of the criticism of the bill has been that it's not a tangible, it's not something quickly that will happen and something will go into the hands of the people, something that has worked in elections for the Congress party and for other parties as well. Suppose freebies/welfare schemes which put quick money or quick benefits into the hands of the citizens. It's a promise of the future, and people wonder, experts wonder, that whether it will really yield votes for the BJP.
Ms. Soni, one needs to understand the nitty-gritties of the system. When I say the system, the administration is not BJP. When I say system, the administration is not Mr. Narendra Modi or his cabinet. So from ground panchayat level to the cabinet level, of course, there are nitty-gritties. This is going to take time, and to the best that people calculate, we can see the fruition of the bill take place up to 2029. But last I checked, BJP is the party that will be registered in the annal of the history to bring in this bill, and Congress could not do it.
Okay.
And yes, we tracked the Lok Sabha, we tracked the Rajya Sabha. The bill was passed with a thumping majority. So people will remember Modi and this government for bringing this bill. And this is going to be a clincher. Mark my words, this is going to be the biggest clincher in the 2024 election.
The Janta Janardhan, or the voters of the world's largest democracy, would decide what Yuvraj is predicting. But Toyin Sinha, one of the criticism that was made by a learned panelist yesterday also when we discussed the issue of women reservation was that it's not a tangible in the hands of the people. It's not a quick benefit that people are getting. And hence, the prospects of it gathering more votes for the BJP or beating the anti-incumbency, as you were talking about, are really questionable. How do you deal with that criticism?
Anusha, you would realize that reservation is not the only way to empower women. When we provide 13 crore tap connections in a matter of just four and 1/4 of a year, I think that's historic. The biggest beneficiary are the women. For working women, we've increased the maternity leave from 3 months to 6 months. You know, the biggest beneficiaries of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan have been women. From a 40% sanitation cover, it has gone up to 100%. So I think, there have been enormous schemes in Jan Dhan Yojana. Out of the 50 crore bank accounts, more than 55% belong to women. So there have been enormous schemes. But nobody from here can go back on the women's reservation bill. That is why it was important to get it passed now, because the kind of political willpower that Modi ji has shown in the last 9 years, that has put an end to the Congress politics of deception. So it was important to get it passed now, so that in future, if Congress tries to play its tricks by including the OBC or whatever, whatever distraction the Congress tries to play, it will not be possible for them to stop this bill from becoming a law. In fact, it has become a law by virtue of being passed, from being implemented on the ground.
Anika Mehrotra, when it comes to the schemes targeted at women, or even the popularity of the present government or Prime Minister amongst the women, many experts, and it's not just anecdotal evidence, many experts would give you hard numbers and data to argue that the number of women voters who have voted for the BJP or the brand of Prime Minister Narendra Modi are huge in numbers. In fact, this is one loyal voter base on which the BJP or the Prime Minister can rely upon. The passage of the women reservation bill in both houses of the parliament, of course, the state assemblies also need to look at it, and of course the final assent from the president is something that will seal the deal. But it is the consolidation of the narrative that the BJP has been building for the last 8 to 9 years. It's not something new. It's yet another consolidatory move.
And that is precisely the reason the worried lot of BJP has bought this bill as the last lap, because they know very well the women of the country have been oppressed. Look at the rate of the cylinders. Look at the kind of unemployment it has got. Look at the way the children are jobless. It goes on and on and on. And hence they knew very well the women voters are going to come in up in arms against BJP. Remember, Anusha, this was then the manifesto in 2014 also. BJP got it in the manifesto that women will be passed. 9.5 years down the line, they have used the trump card many a times, and they knew it very well, Anusha, that no longer will the women of this country vote for Mr. Modi, and hence this is a jumla and we stick by it. Our only appeal to is that if you are so serious about it, we support you. Bring the old bill as it is. It will be implemented 2024.
But Anika ji, I've asked you this question since the beginning of this debate, and I'd make one last attempt as I take closing comments from all the guests, that why did the Congress party support it on the floor of the House if it's a jumla?
Because we feel there's a need of the hour, because we were always
then it's not
advocating
a jumla,
for the women.
But Congress party seem to be supporting a jumla. Can you be? Then you're making a circular argument, aren't you?
No, it's not the question. No, that's what if that is what we're trying to say, that it is a jumla. But had it been a serious thing, no, you're getting it wrong completely. The bill in its own is important, but the way you have bought it with the ifs and buts, it is nothing but a farce. It's supposed to be a check. And I don't think so it's going to see the light of the day.
All right, Yuvraj, final comments from you. It's a post-dated check, and the people in the states will not really take this promise on the face value. They see the designs of BJP behind it. That's what the Congress says.
Nuska, I've always observed a couple of things. BJP has a legion of star pracharaks, the highest being PM Modi. BJP manages to create a groundswell, जिसको हम यूपी में कहते हैं भोकाल. And BJP has an organizational structure which is akin to military level precision. So with the master communicator under like PM Modi, BJP has successfully managed to percolate the last man standing in the queue, and everybody knows. Yesterday I was chatting with a slum worker. He said, "भैया, अब तो हमारी wife भी vote करेगी, अब तो हमारी wife को भी सरकारी नौकरी मिलेगी." So this is what the ground people says, and BJP is very much grounded. That is my humble request and exhortation to Monica ma'am.
All right.
कि मैम थोड़ा सा grounded हो जाइए आप लोग.
All right. Final comments from Tuhin Sinha as we close this discussion.
You know,
in the run up to these crucial elections, is it fair to say that the BJP is nervous because of strong anti-incumbency, and Madhya Pradesh is a very important prestige battle for you?
You know, BJP has the ability to keep surprising the opponents, which should be appreciated. We are not a predictable party like the Congress party, so you will see many more surprises in the months to come. And I think the opposition needs to be prepared for that. They will have no option but to support other bills as well. Rahul Gandhi will not have the option of tearing these apart. Now, one request which I would certainly want to make to the Congress party is that please don't link Rajiv Gandhi with women empowerment, because he's the person who denied 180 rupees monthly allowance to Shah Bano, a poor Muslim woman. So please don't insult women. You know, when you talk of Rajiv Gandhi as an icon of women empowerment, you are repeating the insult which Indian women have gone through during his time.
All right, Mr. Tuhin Sinha, Onika Mehrotra and Rivraj, thank you all for joining us on the broadcast and being a part of this discussion.